When I started doing politics for game developers in Europe, we had this situation that we had basically retail business, so we had a lot of people in between the consumer and the developer, and they all participated in the value chain and actually took most of the benefits out of the value chain. And most of these publishers were not actually European companies. That was even worse for Europe. So actually for the game developers it was quite complicated to actually get games published. Now we have a situation that we have more and more games which are online games. I have actually prepared you some numbers because they are quite astonishing. If you go through the 5 big players in Europe now, we have a company called BigPoint, founded in 2002. 2002, by the way. Today, about 300 employees, reaches out to about 87 million registered users. Another company called Gameforge, founded in 2003. Founder is actually born in 1979. More than 300 employees, more than 100 million turnover, 88 million subscribers. A company in Finland called Sulake, founded in 2000, over 300 employees, more than 148 million subscribers. These are European companies. I think that's very important to understand, because one of the things people always discuss when we talk about these kind of questions is that Europe is actually losing from this kind of free internet situation and that other parts of the world are actually winning from that. I don't see this in my space, actually. Maybe in other spaces this is more visible. So I personally think that we should get into a phase where we actually have a discussion about, a little bit also to go back to what you were saying and what you were saying about the development of the copyright system. To my estimation, I think we should really try now to discuss the impact of the Internet on the copyright system in depth, and I think that hasn't been done so far, not on national level, not on a European level. It is very clear that the copyright system has, as long as it has existed, always reacted to new distribution chains, new distribution models in every phase, upcoming of the television, upcoming of copy machines, whatever, and we never really reacted to that in this phase. So we have a lot of unrest among the population all over Europe and insecurity, but this also is part of the fact that we actually have not really sorted out the problem. Can I say a last thing? Then I have another minute. I have 1 minute. Concerning copyright issue themselves, I can say that among my members, and I represent about 600 game development studios across, let's say, old Europe, something like that. The situation is that my members are somewhat tolerant about copyright issues. They're not so fanatic about it than maybe the film industry or the music industry. That has several reasons. One of this is that online games, which I showed you here, are actually to a certain degree piracy proof. They are on a server. They are not they are not so easy to hack. They are not so easy to copy, to pirate. So that actually leads to the fact that we see, basically, if you see the whole content situation, we see the game industry in a situation which is already on the digital side, while the film industry and the music industry still needs to find out which business models are suitable for them in the internet age. And actually,
obviously you are ahead of your time. You're a relatively new type of industry. What should other industries learn from you?
Yeah, I mean, one thing
you seem to be successful with dealing with privacy. Why?
I mean, the privacy issue is another question. It's not. It's not
with
really a copyright
issue. With the piracy issue.
The piracy issue is for online games. The piracy issue is not a major problem, because when you have an online game, you run it on a server, and you can, even when you are in China, you can make a lot of money with online games, even when there is practically no copyright enforcement in China, because even the Chinese have to log into the online game and pay, or they don't get into the online game. I mean, you could probably imagine similar solutions in the music industry, in the film industry, to kind of get to the same kind of result. I wanted to say one last thing. Maybe this also explains a little bit my question from the last panel. My members are very, very much against software patents. And I remember when there was a discussion about software patents some years ago in the European Parliament, that was just at the beginning of our association being founded. One of the first things I had to do is write to a lot of people of the European Parliament, I didn't know at the time, letters that we don't want software patents. So I think from our point of view, from the game developers community in Europe, this would be not the right development if the copyright system would develop into a patent-like system. That's why I was also asking this question. I don't know if this is on the hidden agenda of the whole discussion here, but I just wanted to make this remark anyway, if you understand what I mean.
Out of cost. Because of cost?
Go ahead.
No, the question is
why is this like this? Because my members are afraid that things happen like that Microsoft or a big company basically patents something like they did it in the US, and then you cannot really go this path anymore. And in the programming, it's actually so fragile that it is more complicated. To make it very simple.
What about business and method patents? Same?
There's no ongoing discussion in our community about that, but I don't think they would like it. I think they would. I mean, the innovative, creative SMEs basically don't see this as a priority and rather as a threat, I would say.
Okay, thank you, Malte. I will give now the words to. Is that okay? Because I want to make up the. Yeah, because we have Giancarlo here, and Giancarlo has a banking background, and it may be interesting to ask Giancarlo's point of view, and I mean, just be free to comment on what your neighbor just said, and maybe talk about patentability if you would like to do that.
Yes, no, I come from investment banking, and my brief is rather different. It covers lots of the stuff that has been said this afternoon. And to my mind, a missing element after protection, enforcement, and many other vital parts of patenting and IP that is missing in the agenda, which is finance. Someone mentioned the relevance to business, the creation of value. That is probably the most evident gap or the most evident difference when you talk about IP in the US and when you talk about IP in Europe, if you exclude trolls and non-practicing entities, which is